Hi everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at the Wet n Wild Spring Forward 2013 limited edition 8-pan eyeshadow palettes, and I have here the Going Into the Wild palette, and then over here I have the Nude Awakening, and I was really excited to find these. As soon as I saw these popping up on people's blogs, I was like, I have to have them. I think that Wet n Wild shadows are really high quality. They have a little bit of fallout, but if you know how to work with them, then it shouldn't be a problem, especially if you use primer. I'm going to go ahead and try to compare these two palettes to things that I already own and see if they're dupes, and maybe this will help you out there decide on whether or not you want to try and pick up these Wet n Wild palettes. So stay tuned if you're interested. Here are the palettes up close, and I will pick them up one by one just so you can see the quality of the shimmers that are in there, if they give off different types of glimmer as you see them shine against the light. So these two here from the Nude Awakenings palette are a little bit sheer toned, almost matte in quality. And on this side, the Going Into the Wilds palette, all of these are shimmery shades, with the bottom two here being chunkier looking pieces of shimmer, and this one right here as well being chunkier shimmer. When I posted my original haul video, I had a couple people asking me how the Nude Awakening palettes compares to the Comfort Zone palette, so I thought I would go ahead and put them side by side. Here's the Comfort Zone on the right and the Nude Awakenings palette. As you can see, they're quite different. The nude colors on the left hand side of the Comfort Zone palette don't really seem to be dupes of anything that is in the Nude Awakenings palette. If you happen to pick up the Sparkle Till Morning limited edition palette, I just thought I would put it next to this palette as well, just so you could take a look. It doesn't really look like any of these are dupes of the other either. If you wanted to compare the Walking on Eggshells palette to the Going Into the Wild palette, here you can see they're really quite different. Here is the Silent Treatment palette. If you wanted to compare the definer color to the crease color here, even though Wet n Wild likes to put a lot of the dark shadows with chunky glitter in them, these two are quite different. If you wanted to compare the crease one to the definer one from the Nude Awakenings palette, that's what it looks like. The glitter specks in this one here seem to be more gold based, whereas this one seemed to be silver based. Here is a side-by-side comparison of the Going Into the Wild palette next to the Petal Pusher palette. And I'm going to lift them up so you can see the quality of the shimmer in either one. The two definer shades on the bottom right hand side are actually quite different. I'm going to spin this around just so you can compare them side by side. You can see that the one on the left is slightly darker, whereas the one in Petal Pusher is a little bit more gray. Now let's see what they look like if you compare them on the finger. You can see that's how the shimmer compares. The one in the Petal Pusher seems to be a little bit more silvery gray, whereas the one in Going Into the Wild seems to be a little bit more black. Here are the swatches of the Nude Awakenings palette. I'll start with the colors on the left hand side. So just going down, there's the brow bone color, there's the eyelid color, the crease color, and the definer shade. And then on the right hand side, there's the brow bone color, the eyelid color, the crease color, and the definer color. I thought I would go ahead and grab out my Urban Decay Naked 1 and Naked 2 palettes and see if I could find any similar colors as well. So let's start off by looking at the Naked 1 palette. The thing that sticks out to me the most probably is the last two shades, Creep and Gunmetal. They look to me a lot like these if you reverse them. They look to me a lot like the last two shades here on the Nude Awakenings palette. So I'll go ahead and swipe those as well next to the ones that are on my hand. So here on my hand already is the Wet n Wild, and here is Gunmetal. You can see Gunmetal is a little bit of a lighter gray metallic shade. And then Creep is Creep to me looks a lot like the one in the Nude Awakenings palette. And then the other shade that I thought looked kind of similar was this crease shade here and Buck right here. So let's see what clean finger I have. Buck is right over there. Oops, almost grabbed the wrong one, Buck. So Buck is a little bit more pigmented and darker in shade than the crease shade, but they're still kind of similar in the pans if you take a look at them side by side right there. What else? Oh yeah, and I also thought that Toasted and Hustle look a lot like two shades right over here. So I guess I will go and wash my hands and come back and swatch those two as well. So again, on my hand already are the Wet n Wild, and I'm going to go ahead with my finger and go in with Toasted. Going with Toasted. And then with Hustle. The Urban Decay shades are darker and more pigmented, but the Wet n Wild are still really nice colors. So that's my 2 cents from the Naked 1 palette. From the Naked 2 palette, the one that stood out to me that I thought could be a good match was this definer color here and Snakebite. So I will go ahead and swatch that. It's this one right here. So this one doesn't have anything on it yet. Swatch it right next to it. Snakebite is a lighter bronze shade, but there you have it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the swatches of the Going Into the Wild palette. So starting on the left hand side, and then the eyelid color, the crease color, and the definer color. And then going to the other side, here is the brow bone color, the eyelid color, the crease color, and the definer color. So I thought the top two colors were the most difficult to get pigment out of the brow bone colors, but the rest of them were decent. I find that the most unique color from this palette is probably this eyelid color. I don't think I really have anything in my collection that is quite like this mermaid green, pastel-y, shimmery green shade, so I thought that was nice. And I was trying to look for dupes in this palette. One of the things that I thought looked kind of similar was MAC Trax. I believe this is Trax. Yeah, MAC Trax to this eyelid color here, so I'll go ahead and swatch that next to it. And that would be this one up there. So I would say those two are actually really similar, except again the MAC is just a little bit richer in shade. The MAC one is deeper and more pigmented. The other things that I thought stood out to me from my Kat Von D palette, I would say maybe the crease color here and this color down here are similar. That is Babe. So I'll go ahead and swatch that. Let me find a clean finger. So that one right there. And that one is a lot deeper, so not quite a dupe. The Wet n Wild one is a lot lighter, as you can see them side by side. The other color in here though, I think it's Cholita, is, let's put it down the middle and see how it compares. Although look very different in the pan, looks a lot like this definer shade right here. If you can see it, it's really kind of tough to see, but here's the definer shade and here's Cholita. They have the same dark purple quality to them. I went and washed my hands so that I could re-swatch those for you. Here is the definer shade from the Wet n Wild palette. And here is Cholita from Kat Von D. They have the same purple shimmery quality to them. Obviously, the Kat Von D shadows are a lot more buttery. However, when you swatch them on skin, I guess Cholita is a lot darker. So this one you probably just need to pick up more product to get the similar effect from it. Grabbed out the Urban Decay Feminine palette, and I thought Hijack was the closest thing I could find to this eyelid color. However, it is much more of an emerald color. Thought I would go ahead and put it next to the, yeah, it is a lot deeper, but that was the closest thing I could find. I kind of think Bordello. I feel like Bordello looks a lot like this eyelid shade here. Here is Bordello from Urban Decay. And I will swatch it maybe up here. And that's Bordello. And right here is the Wet n Wild one, and up here is MAC Trax. So Bordello, Urban Decay, Wet n Wild eyelid shade for the Going Into the Wild palette, and MAC Trax. So I hope you found this swatch video to be somewhat useful. I know my hand looks kind of crazy right now, but yeah, I think that these palettes are really fun. For drugstore, for being only $4.99 a piece, I thought that they were totally worth it to add to my collection. Thanks all for watching, and see you next time. Bye.